Hello and welcome to the new Tableau tutorial. And in this Tableau tutorial, I will going to show you the 15 different types of chart, the bar chart within Tableau. So bar chart is very common type of chart. If you have done the reporting and analytics, I'm pretty sure that there is not a single instance where you have created a report or a dashboard in which you have not used the bar chart. So bar chart is very common, very traditional, and because it has been used so many times in so many reports or dashboards that even for the end user it is pretty easy, right? And one of the primary uses that you do the comparison of categories. But with the advancement into the bar chart, you can basically create it for various different purposes, and that's what the objective over here, that all the different beautiful bar charts that you see in various different users dashboards or in different communities, and ever wondered how you will going to create these types of bar chart, then this is what I will going to show you in this tutorial, where in these 15 instances you will have everything that you as a Tableau developer or as a data visualization analyst need to know when you need to create a good, beautiful, and based on the scenario, the type of the chart related to the bar chart that you need to create. So stay tuned with me and we will continue with this journey. So now let's start with a very basic one and very step-by-step manner. We will advance to the various different types of bar charts so that this journey is easy for you, and after that you become like your own creative user, or you can use your own creative mind to basically going to use the right dimensions, values, as well as settings to create your own type of chart for your report and dashboard. So let's get started. Alright, so here we are within our sheet, and as you can see I have the examples up till 15, and for the second example I have created the 3 different variations. So along with 2.1 you have 2.2, 2.3, 2.4 because they were similar type of chart. So all in all, when you are going out, you actually not have 15 but the 18 different types of variations of the chart. So the very first chart, as you could see, is a very simple one. So if you are the first time user of the Tableau, or very first time looking at this particular type of chart within Tableau, then it is good for you. Otherwise you can skip to the next type of chart. But this is what we call a column chart, or a simple the vertical bar chart. And to create this, what I'm going to do is I am going to take the so as you can see, what we have is the column and rows over here. So the same thing we will going to do, we will take the dimension or the category value like subcategory over here, and then we will going to take the measure. Measure is represented by hash, as you can see in prefixed to them. So we will take the sum of sales, and then to sort it we have this ascending and descending. So when we click on ascending sort, this is the type of chart that we get. If you want to change the color, you will come over here and change the color to this one. And over here, if you see, there are some lines which is coming that you can remove by right clicking, click on format, and then here in the grid lines over here, you come to the column, to the rows over here, because these are rows, right? Because these are horizontal, so these are indicated as rows. So you come over here and click on none. All the lines have been gone. And over here, if you see that for some of the values, the dots are coming. That means they are not full. So what usually you do is they come at the end, or they try to see how they can drag it towards right. But what you can do is come over here in this dimension where the standard view, fit width, fit height, or the entire view. So I will click on entire view. That way the chart will be on the entire screen. Also, if you think you don't need this, you right click over here and click on hide field from labels. Also, if you don't need this, you right click over here and uncheck the show header. That way at the end you have the beautiful looking chart. Also, the labels are not present. So what you can do is come over here in label and click on show marked label. That way your chart will be complete like I have shown it over here. As you can see, the chart, the bar width or the size of the bar is less. So what you can do is come over here and reduce the size to look like what we need. So sizing is also very important because that basically gives a good look and feel in case we have so many categories. So reducing the size of the bar chart will make it will create some more space where user can easily see the categories of the chart. So that's one. So we will say EX1, example 1. Now we have example 2. So this is a horizontal bar chart with the labels in the end. So what we can do is we can right click over here and click on duplicate, right? And we will give it example 2. I will show you a very straightforward shortcut way of doing this. Example 2, over here you have the transpose option or the swap rows and column. So once you click it over here, you will going to create this chart, the horizontal bar chart, right? So why do we need to create this type of a chart in place of this one? Well, whenever you have many categories, right? For example, even in this scenario, viewing the categories for an end user is very much easier as compared to this particular chart. Also from a comparison perspective, this becomes pretty easy because you have more categories and more comparison that can easily be done with the visualization for the end user. Okay, so that was pretty easy. And as you can see, you have these vertical lines, which are nothing but the column grid lines. So what we can do is in the formatting, we can come to the columns, click none over here, and the grid lines will be removed. Also, if you have a need to format these labels, you can right click and click on format, and you will find the font over here where if you want, you can make it Tableau medium. As you can see, it has become dark. And you can change the color. You want to make it a little bit more dark, you can make it so that your formatting is as per the needs. Also, these labels, if you need to format, you need to come over here in the labels, and in the font you will see that what you want to change. For example, you want to reduce this, so you make it 8. You want to make it Tableau regular, and if you want to change the color, you can change it from here, right? So that way you can do the formatting of your needs. Now let's move on to the next type of chart. So the next type of chart, if you see, what we have is along with these categories, we have the numbers, so that user don't have to go in the end. And you may have seen in a couple of charts where people have been experimenting with this, and you may have wondered, okay, how would I really create this type of chart? So the setting is really easy. So what I'll do is I will just right click and say duplicate again, and I will say 2 point, that was 2.1, and this will be 2.2. okay, so we will create same way one by one. So we are in 2.2. we have the labels over here. When we click on the label here, in the alignment, if you see, we have the horizontal alignment, we have vertical alignment. So right now we are talking about horizontal alignment because this is at the far right, and what we need is at the left. So once we click over here, you will see that you have the values just beside to the categories, so that along with the comparison you can see easy. But for an end user, people don't have to move their eye from here all the way till the end just to look at the number. So that way, looking at the number become really easy. And as you can see, setting is pretty easy. When you go into the label, you come into the alignment and you put your horizontal alignment to the left. All right, so this is 2.2. What is 2.3? 2.3 is you have not here, but as part of the table. So whenever you have need like this, you want to make a clear and bold representation of values, sort of a table. So what you need to do is, again, you will going to duplicate this, and we will say a 2.3 3, right? And we will uncheck the labels, and we will close this formatting for now, and we will bring the sum of sales here, but it will change the chart. So what you need to do is come over here on this pill, click on this icon and make it discrete. Once you make it discrete, these values have appeared over here. Now it is up to us whether we want these lines or not. If we don't need, we will right click, go into the format, and over here in rows, because these are rows, right? First row, second row, third row, all of these. So within the row, in these lines, we have over here grid lines, we have drop lines, and all of these. But that's where you will not find this. We have to come over here in the borders, because these are all part of borders. And here within the rows, you have row divider, and we will say none. When we say none, all the values have gone. If you even want to remove this sort of a zero line, it is up to us. And over here in this particular lines option, we can come to the column, and in the zero lines we say none over here. All right, drop lines, you just need to little bit do the experiment. And over here, column divider, let's try to make it none over here. Yeah, so the column divider is where your values are present. So sometimes even you find it that you will need to experiment a little bit in terms of where exactly the value is, but as you will become more experienced, it will be easy where to look at this. So that's the fourth example that we have looked. After that, we have this fifth example where you will see that you don't have categories at all, but categories are inside the bar chart. So how you can do that is something pretty interesting. So what you have is this, and what I'll do is I will just right click and make it duplicate this one over here, and I will say this, and over here we will say 2.4. So the first thing is this, that we need to keep the labels at the right, because that's where the values were coming, and we need to have these categories inside the bar chart. So to do this, if you want to have both these values and these values, what we need to do is we need to create a duplicate field of sum of sales. So I will hold down my command or control key. So command is present in Mac and control is present in Windows. So I will hold down my command key and drag this on the right. What it will going to create is the same visualization for me. And over here in this visualization, what I can do is I can keep the values based on where I want to keep. For example, for one chart, I want to show the numeric values. For the one chart, I want to show the text values. Okay, so the first chart, let's say we want to show the text values. So over here, what we will going to do is we will uncheck this first of all from the first bar chart, and this is the second one, as you can see, the dragged one. And what we will do is we will put the subcategory on the label. So now the same subcategory is coming, as you can see, storage, chairs, and in the label we will come into the alignment and we will say left. So once the left is present, the categories have come over here, right? And after that, what we need for the second chart, we come over here, the second one. The color is something what we will make it white, right? So the bar has gone, and then what we need is come over here in the second pill, and we will make it dual axis. When we make it dual axis, you will see that it has changed completely. But what we will going to do is for the first chart, the sum of sales, from automatic we will change this to the bar, right? So as you can see, we have the bars, we have the values over here. We can uncheck these. So we come over here and we say we will right click over here and we will say show header. So the header is gone, and we will right click over here. First of all, click on synchronize axis, And then we will say show header is something we don't need, so we right click here and uncheck show header, right? And then you will see that this circle is coming, right? So two ways is what we can do. We have this circle. Let's try to reduce the size, and it has reduced completely. And over here we have both the values. You have the value at the end, you have the phones over here, and that way you will see this particular chart that we have created in the 2.4. The only thing is I think over here is complete bar that is coming, and here is a small dot. What you can probably do is maybe here make it a square. Oops, not this one. This I want to keep it this like this, and here I think I chose the square one over there. So basically the same way we can make it useful for our visualization. Even in the color you will make the opacity like 0, so everything is gone in the end, even that small dot is gone, and you can see your visualization is coming. So this visualization is useful in scenarios like those where you have less space for categories. You don't want to show it as a separate category, you want to show the save the space and keep the category as part of the visualization. So this was our 2.4. Now let's move on to the third. So over here what we have is the new introduction of the line. This is very useful and meaningful in scenarios like those where you are creating business dashboards, or where you need to provide some sort of a context to your chart, like how many values or how many categories are above the average and how many are below the average. So over here you will see that from the bookcases to the fasteners are the category which have the below average sales, and these are the categories which has above average sales. So definitely questions and concerns will come over here as to what's going on, and it will enable some sort of an action over there. So how we can create this? Well, what I am going to do is maybe I will just duplicate this one, the first one, and we will say example. I just double clicked over there. If you are wondering what I'm doing, I just double clicked and it will put it into the edit mode. So over here we need to come here in the analytics, and here we need to bring in the average line on the table. So you see that average line has come, the same average line, but over there I was showing the value as well. If I go to the third one, I have the value as well, and this was bit formatting, so the focus is more on the bar chart and this is more like a context, so it is not taking a lot of attention as compared to this one where it is more dark. So what you can do is you can right click and click on edit, and over here in the average you will say custom, and you will write average sales, and here you will take the value, and for the formatting of line you will say this one, this line and this particular mark, and click OK. Yeah, so that way it's up to us how much dark or how much lighter we want, but over here you will see the average sales 135129 is what it is coming, which is much more meaningful as compared to just showing the average like it was showing earlier. So that way we can create the average for this one, for the entire table or for the entire company. Now what if we want to do the average for each category, right? So you will see that line is present over here, right? So for that, again I will just duplicate this and make it example number 4, the base chart. I am duplicating that, and this is example 4, and over here again in the average line, when I drag it, you will see earlier I did it on table, but now I will do it on cell. Cell means individual categories. So once I click it over there, you will see that for now the line is coming in the end. So we need to change little bit of settings just so that we get these values not as a sum but as an average for this particular lines. Or another way is that we basically compare it with a different variable. That's also a possibility. So what I mean by that is, over here in the data, if you see, we have the profit. So if we bring the profit onto the detail, and when we go inside this chart, click on edit, we have sum of sales, which we need to change. Like here we have dragged sum of profit, we should have dragged average of sales, and the value will have come over here. So if you see, sum of profit is, if I do it a change, you will see the value or the bars have changed completely, right? So that's one way of doing this, by which you have the sales, you have the profit, and now you can see both the values over here. So in a nutshell, what it means is that on these average lines, whatever you want as a measure, you bring it over here on the detail, and then it will going to allow you to go inside into the edit mode and change it the way you want. So you right click, edit, choose whatever calculation that you want, and that way it will be easy for you to choose the average line and change it on your chart. So that's the example number 4. Now let's move on to the example number 5, which over here is the average by category. So the category is basically your main category. Inside that you have the relevant subcategories. So for each category, what is the average that is different from the overall average? So overall average was here for all the categories. Then for each category, we have looked at a different dimension altogether, or we can look at the sum of the average of sales. The only thing is we need to bring the average sales here on the details. And then what we can do is come over here, right click and make it duplicate. And in the duplicate, we will change, let's change this to example number 5 and bring the category over here. So as we bring the category over here, still it will show you the entire line, because this line is an indication that this is for the entire sale or the entire subcategory. So what we need to do is right click, go into the edit mode over here, and here you have the scope. So the scope is per cell we have checked, entire table we have checked. Now it is per pane, and click OK. And that way you will have the average line by each pane. That way you can show that how average is different for each of the categories, where technology is the category where you have the highest average sales, followed by the furniture and then office supplies. And even in these respective categories, what are those subcategories which are above average and below average? So for example, in case of technology, only phone is above average, rest other is below average, and in the sales. So these are, the context that you can add on your entire data and on your relevant subcategories or subcategories by adding the average lines. All right, let's move on to the next one. So we've looked at example number 5, but for some reasons, what I see is 6 and 7 is missing. So that's strange. All right, we have from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So what I will do is from 6, we have moved directly to the 8. I will just check if something is being missed from my notes. I will bring it back. But for now, I will just continue the momentum based on what we have. Okay, so the next chart is what we call it Lollipop chart. I have explained in one particular video and previously as well, but I wanted to cover it again as we are covering all the bar charts over here. So creating this is sometimes slightly technical, and I will just clear the entire doubt so that you will not have any issue again creating this chart. Okay, so what we need to do is again, we need to create first of all a chart, right? And what we need is basically the sales and the categories, right? This is what we need at the end of the day. And we will just swap it, sort it, okay, make it the entire view. This is our default settings. And over here, once we have the sum of sales, what we need to create this line of chart. So what happens is, think about this, when we create this particular chart, is we need something at the end, okay, and that is what it is coming here as a bar. So if I change this to a circle, right, so now we know the circle is here, but what we don't have is a line or something which is starting from here, starting from 0 up until this particular value. So for each category, we need to have a bar or a line that is starting from here and going all the way up till end. And that is what we need to do. So how we need to do is, we need some value which is starting at 0. So that's where we create a dummy variable, sum of 0, min of 0, whatever you have seen is something we will going to create. And the another measure is nothing but your sum of sales. So what we bring is measure values. So what measure values allows is, basically it gives you the entire thing. So sum of sales is something I will keep it, and I will remove everything. And before removing the second last, I will need to add the, okay, here I will just add the sum of 0, because from 0 we need to start up till where? Sum of sales. So remove this. So what you see is, we have the starting value, we have the ending value, right? So what we need is basically line in this case, okay, not for all. I will change this to automatic, but for the first sum of sales, what we need is circle. For the measure values, the second one, what I need is the line, and the path. The path should be start from here going up till here. Again, for second category, start here going up till here. So the path should be starting here going up till here for the measure values. So we bring the measure names which is present here onto the path, and that way it will going to create your sum of, say, the lollipop chart, first particular chart. Okay, so what I will do is, here after this I will come over here and make it dual axis, right? And you can see that after that it's pretty straightforward, that you have the chart over here. So you right click, you uncheck the show header, and over here you can format these lines. I have already done that. Also, from each of these lines, for example, the color I will change, let's say this to not gray, not this one, line color I will change this to gray, and sum of sales I will change this to our standard color that we have been using. And then we will increase the size of the circle based on up till whatever point we want, how much bigger the lollipop what we need. And then on the measure line, since the line is coming over here, giving us a bit of an indication that it is going inside. So what you can do is come over here in the color and reduce the opacity over here. Also, even if you think this is something problematic, I just recommend that we use more solid color, not a transparent color like this one. Maybe, for example, this one. That way we will have more better information. So that way you can create your lollipop chart, which is again sort of a bar chart which you may have seen that people are using, and that is making your visualization interactive. So that is your example number 8, I believe. Okay, now I remember what I did for example number 6. So let me give you the example number 6. Example number 6 is nothing but your rounded bar chart. So your rounded bar chart is, again, what you need is first of all these categories over here, not here, over here in the categories, and then what you need is sum of sales. So you may have seen the rounded bars starting here going up till here. So again, what we need is something which is starting here and ending here, and that's how I got it. Similar example or similar scenario I just did in the previous example. So what we need, again, we need nothing but the measure values. So we will bring the measure values over here. We will remove this and we will say not aggregate, sum of 0, right? And we remove everything, then just keep on removing this. Done. Here, here. So we have something which is starting from 0 going all the way till the end, but right now it is bar. So what we will do is change it to a line, and line for this measure path is nothing but our measure names, right? So what we will do is we will search for measure name and put it on the path, and when the path is present, you will see that we can increase the size, and now this is nothing but your rounded bar chart, right? So again, you format this, right click, format, come here on the grid lines, on the columns, we don't need anything, and this is your horizontal line. I believe this is present here. Column divider is none in the column. We have pane. Let's try to make it none. No. Okay, I'll come here. Okay, 0 line. This time it is 0 line. So now the 0 line is gone. So that way you have your beautiful looking the rounded bar chart. So that's what I wanted to show you as an example 6. Once I will remember the example 7, I will show you. But for now, I will just continue with the scenario number 9. Alright, so scenario number 9 is slightly different, as you can see. So what it gives is basically not just the rounded edges bar chart that we created in the previous video, but it shows you sort of a progress. So progress, which is helpful in knowing out of the complaints, the total complaints that you have, how much you are really progressing, or if you want to compare with anything, that's also something you can basically do over here. So what we are doing, if you see over here, we are comparing rest of the categories with the highest category, that is phones. So compared to our maximum sales that is happening in the phones category, where does our rest of the other category falls, right? So over here, if you see, this is like 330,000 is what we see. Over here, it is slightly less than 330,000, and that's why you see all the way up till end, this value is coming, the bar is coming, and then slightly ahead you have this line, which is showing that it's not complete 100%. But in this case, it is quite apparent that for storage, this is clearly lagging behind, because the storage value is 223,844 as compared to 330,000. So this is the scenario that we have, and in this particular scenario, what we need to do is, first of all, create a standalone LOD, level of detail function for a given category, phones, and then you compare the rest of the categories. So this is helpful in scenarios where you are comparing any category against other category. So what I have done to show this is, I have created the max sales by subcategory. If you see, this is what I have put here, that is max sales by subcategory, and then the same function which I have put it in the previous video, the measure values, where you have the sum of sales and aggregated sum of 0, so that you are going starting from 0 till the sum of sales, and create a line, right? This is what the line that we created in the previous video. So what's really going on here, and I will recreate this, but first of all, let's understand what's going on with this function. Alright, so let me go into the edit mode, and over here we will start with the innermost function, that is sum of sales, and we are fixing its category, fixed subcategory sum of sales. It's nothing but saying subcategory over here and sales over here, and it will show all the values of subcategory by sum of sales. But when we wrap it with the max function, what it gives us, it's a one single value. That means the maximum value that we have for sale for a given subcategory. So the maximum sale is in the case of phones, right? So what it does is it fixed that and does not take any dimension. That means it will be fixed for everything that is going on, that wherever we plot it, like the one value, and you will always get here in this case there's 330,000. In case wherever you will plot it, that will be just one single value. So that's what it is going on. And let me start from the scratch just so that, so we have this maximum sales by subcategory. We will just put it like max sales, and same thing we will do. We will first write our first LOD, which is fixed and subcategory, and then we will say sum of sales. That's our innermost level of detail. So wherever you will going to put, it will always be fixed at subcategory level. That means on any dimension you will put, it will be fixed at subcategory level for a sum of sales. Now what we want to identify is the highest sum of sales. So we will wrap it inside the max, and we want to fix it. We don't want to change it for any category. Otherwise you will not see that bar or that particular line which is going in the end. So what we do is we fix that. Okay, and in the end we will close this. So that's what it is going on. So that's why I wanted to show you in a very simplest way possible, and click OK. So what we have is, now if I take the maximum sales and if I take the subcategory here in the, not in the product, yeah, there you go, in the product you have subcategory. So for each value you will see that 330,000 is what you will going to get, right? Now along with the subcategory, what we need is the rounded edges, that line chart. So what we will going to do is again bring the measure values, and we will say sum of 0, because we want to start from 0 and go all the way up to sales. So we will remove this, remove everything. We don't need them. Okay, so once it is there, we will come into the max sales and we will reduce the size to something which is pretty thin line, up to us how much we want to go, and I'll just make it gray. And then for the measure values, the second one, what we need to do is we need to convert it into a line like we did it earlier and put the measure names on path. So that will create the rounded edges lines. And then we right click and say dual axis. Okay, in case of dual axis, we have to just make sure that this is changed from circle to something which is bar, right? And then once we have this, we come to the measure values, the line, and increase its size. How much this? So yeah, so up to us how much we want to change, and we will say entire view. And yeah, you can increase it a little bit more. And then for the max sales, we can just reduce its opacity to, let's say, something like this, and that way we will have the same chart. And I will change maybe color to this. What about, yeah, looks fine, consistent. And then we can just make sure we right click over here, say synchronize axis, again right click, we uncheck show header. Similarly, in case of here, we uncheck show header, we right click here and click on format. We want to remove these vertical lines that is coming. So we come over here in columns, grid lines, none, right? We don't need 0 line, so 0 line is gone. Even if we don't need these row dividers and column dividers, we need to come here in the borders, and in the sheet we say none row divider and none column divider, and that way we have our same chart. we want to do, we can do the sorting based on our need. So sorting, if you see, is basically not coming. So what you can do is come over here in sort subcategory, because subcategory is what you need to sort, and you sort based on whatever value that we have. So we are doing it right now by max sales. It will not going to change because it's same for each value. So what we need is basically the sales, and now you can see whether we want in ascending or descending order, and you will have properly formatted good looking chart for your dashboard visualization, which you usually see is how attractive various different experts are making the visualization. So example number 9, what we have it here. Now let's move on to the 10. So this visualization is also pretty much similar, but at the end, if you see, what you have is a small circle. So this is nothing but it's the same thing which is going on again, combination of multiple fields. If you would see some measure values and sum of sales and sum of 0, we have been doing that. So what we can do is we can just duplicate this, and I will show you how by duplicating this you can create this visualization. So you don't have to learn anything new, but just modify what you have done. So we are looking at example number 10, and in the example number 10, which we have already done, now what I need is go into sum of circle, reduce the size of the circle. If you see, let's say up until this looks fine, and then in measure values increase the size of the line. So you will see in a minute that you are getting that. Yep, there you go. Right, so this is 10, this is number 10. The only thing is the color is different, otherwise everything is same. So we'll just increase the size maybe a little bit more so that it is clearly coming there. Yeah, and we can change the size to this one, and then you know how to remove these lines, these pane lines, this 0 line, everything you can then remove. Alright, so that's your number 10 to make your chart beautiful, the bar chart. Now the divergent bar chart. So divergent bar chart is basically based on the positive values and negative values. That's what it basically has at the end of the day, and it is useful in those scenarios where you want to compare them. So for example, over here, if you see, I'm comparing the 2020 sales with 2019 sales, and for that what I have done is simply created two new measures, one for 2019. If I just say in edit, it's a simple if condition. I'm saying if year order date is 2019, then sales, that means give me only 2019 sales. Similarly for 2020, give me only 2020 sales. Simple if condition is what I'm using. So if I show you this example 11, it's the same thing which is going there. So we have subcategory, right? We have 2019 sales, we have 2020 sales, okay? And I'm doing simply what? Double clicking here. Before the sum, I'm saying negative sign, and that way I have this visualization. And after that, I will just go ahead and click on entire view, and in the after entire view, I will change this color. So maybe this is something what I can make it a little bit light. And for the second visualization, what I can do is I can change, I don't know, maybe this or this, whatever color combination that is useful, we can change it. Okay, yeah, this looks good, I guess. So you can remove the vertical lines, I have been showing that, and these panes, and that way you will have your chart. The only thing is sorting. So you can sort. What I really recommend is we sort it by 2020. So once we click it here, we know the highest categories of 2020, and we can clearly see in some cases, which is clearly apparent, this one, where the sales have improved a lot when it compares with the 2019. Similarly over here, Sales has improved a lot in case of when we compare it from the previous year. Even in this case, all of these different cases, this one clearly the bar is high. So that way it's just that it's a bar chart, but it creates, or it gives an amazing sort of comparison with the help of simple tricks. Okay, so once we have done that, what we need is the next example. The example number 12, bar inside the bar chart. So what we are having is the sales and the profit. So situation like this where we have negative profit, clearly visible. In case of here in book cases, clearly visible that profit is less, and rest other cases we can do the comparison. So again we have this very simple, by sub product category we have sales, profit and the dual axis, and then we have done the settings. So for that, what we need is example number 12, and here we want to get the subcategory in the columns, let's say, and we get what? Sales, and we get profit. We make it dual axis, and we change this to a bar, and we change this to a bar or line. I think bar is fine. Yeah, bar is what I've been showing that. And then what we do is we reduce the size. That's it. That's all what we need to do. But if you see, this is not coming along when we compare it with our number 12 over here. The reason for this is because we need to synchronize the axis. If you see, the sales axis is going all the way up till 300K, whereas the profit is just 55K. So you right click over here and click on synchronize axis. Now your chart is same. So I'm again right clicking and unchecking the show header. Similarly, right clicking over here, unchecking the show header, making it an entire view, and we have our bar inside the bar chart. So that's another thing which I wanted to show you that you can do with the help of this. And then I basically, oops, let me close this. So what I basically did is a little bit of formatting. I was playing around with this by just creating something else, but it did not work out. So the only thing I changed is the color for the sum of sales, which is nothing but the very light gray color, and the blue color in case of profit. So over here, the blue color is, I believe, this one I chose, the aqua. Okay, so that's up to us, how much formatting what we need. Let's move on to the next one. The one which I was trying to create something else, it did not work out very well. So I'll create something else maybe while thinking about it. So 13, very nice and very interesting type of bar chart. What we have over here is the bar chart, which is based on rank. So if you see, we have this rank, that is rank number 1, and in various years, like in 2018, phone was on rank 1. Then in 2019, chairs is on rank 1 when it comes to sum of sales. And then again in 2020, chairs is on rank 1, and the phones are on sale rank 1 again back in 2021. So that basically shows the different in different years or on different categories, what is the ranking, right? So that's pretty useful when you are sort of trying to compare the 5 different top categories or 6 categories along with their rank over a period of years. So how you can create this type of bar chart is, again, as you can see over here, we have the year is based on the order date, and then we have sum of sales, which is easy, but then we are ranking it. Okay, so let's create this and come over here. So this is our example number 13. So we have the order date. This is already by year, and then we have sum of sales. So we will take sales over here. So now we have sum of sales, and this we will take, we need to have the subcategory. And if you see the subcategory, what we had is on the text. So once we have a subcategory over here, we will, from automatic, we will convert it into a bar because that's what we need. So if we go back here in the 13, this particular one, we had these different categories, but they will be displayed based on the rank. So rank is something what we need to create, and the formula for the rank that I have used is, where is that rank function? Let me rank and click on edit. Nothing but your rank sum of sales. But rank sum of sales is basically based on the subcategory. So that is what we were going to do. So you have seen the rank formula. This is the formula that you need, sum of sales and then rank. Click OK. You need to bring it over here. And now the rank is coming like this. You have these different bars, but this is a vertical bar chart, not the horizontal bar chart. So for that, what you can simply do is come here in show me and click over here. So you have this particular bar chart, but the only problem that we get is that this is nothing what we want. We wanted the labels, because if we go back again, this is what we want inside this, but that is coming at the end, which is slightly difficult and will not give us the desired output. Okay, so we will press Ctrl Z and we will come over here in rank and we will say compute using and the subcategory. And one last thing, one of the very important, and to put everything in the order, is converting the rank into discrete. So because we want to show it as the value, not as the measure, so we will change it to discrete, and then you will see that you have the same type of categories which I was showing over there. So I will change the color to this and I will make the label inside the chart, and what we can do is we can make it, I don't know, maybe Tableau medium, and yeah, that should be it. And this is giving us the value or the output that we were looking for. So that's again another interesting way. I wanted to show you how you can create your chart, and maybe we can make it entire view so that it looks amazing. So that's something very contextual information that you are getting with the help of little bit of settings as to how to do that when you are preparing any dashboard. Now we will move on to the 14. Let's see what 14 is. This is a pretty interesting one where it's sort of like you have the different strings or different lines on which on a particular point you have the value that shows how much there is a variation in each value, which one is going high and low. Again, I will just make the color. This is not looking really good. I will edit the color and maybe I will choose for sales this one. Click OK, and now it's better, showing at least something useful. And then if you see, the subcategory is like off and on. So maybe what I have not done there is the sorting. So we come over here and sort, and I'll show you how you can do that, but just in 1 minute we will do it by the sales and in descending order. That way it looks pretty nice as to what are the categories that you have and how you can do this. So if you see, this is nothing but, again, we are using maximum sales that we have done previously with the sum of sales. I think this was the example number, this one, right? So what we do is we will just going to duplicate this, bring it in the end. So you can see that not a lot that gets changed, but it's all about the different settings and the different way we want to show the same information, right? It's just that every time when you show it, based on what you want to show, how dense the information is or how much less the information is, based on that you can choose the type of chart. But the whole idea is these are the options. By having a different settings, we can basically make it. Okay, so after that, example number 14 is over here, and what we need this particular bar which is the measure values, and we need to basically change this to a circle. So if you see, we have circle over here on this particular chart, but we have the circle at the start as well, right? But that's not what we want. We simply want the maximum sales and sum of sales. So we're going to remove this. So once we remove this, you see that we got sum of sales over here, and now we have circles. If we reduce the size of the circle, it will be pretty nice. Yeah, that should be it. We just right click, make sure that axes are synchronized. They are, and we uncheck the show header, and we have this chart for us. All right, so that's done. Let's come to our final chart, which is the 15. Again, this chart is a chart which is based on, I believe, the example number 9. So we will going to duplicate this, and we will right click and duplicate, because if you see, again, we have what we have done is basically change the settings. So over here, so example number 15 is again maximum category sum of sales. Both the cases bar is present, and then we have done the setting in such a way that it is showing the bar is progressing till the end. And then we will say example number 15. We will remove the sum of 0. We will change sum of sales. We will change this also to a bar, right? And we will reduce the bar size. I think this much is sufficient. Yeah. And then in case of maximum sales, we will increase the size. Yeah, this much looks like a little bit. Yeah, this much is sufficient. And now you have the same chart. Just make sure that axes are synchronized and uncheck the show header. And then we have our same chart which is present over here. Okay, so only thing that is missing is maybe just one more example number 7 that I could not show. I don't know, I may be creating it, but then I may have sort of either deleted it or dropped it. And even I was trying to do some experiment with this particular chart by making it the rounded edges, but the whole problem is that we get the rounded edges even in the end. So that was not looking really nice, and I did not feel like, it will going to produce a lot of impact. So that's why I left it over there. But these are the main ones which I wanted to show you, the different charts in which you can create based on the scenario that you are having. You can create that particular chart, right? Yeah, I think I covered that one. I was wondering whether I did this particular chart or not. Alright, so when I look at this particular chart, I get an idea that can probably fill a space for our chart number 7 and can be useful. So what we want is, let's say we want to duplicate this and we want to bring it over here, and let's give it a number 7. So 6 is something I already shown you over here, which is a rounded edges. But in this case, what I want to show you, we don't want this for sure. So we only want these labels. But very easily what we can do is we can reduce the size just so that it looks like line. Now whenever we have less space, so earlier you have seen that for the entire bar you had this, but whenever the space is less and we have to show the bar and we want to reduce it, what we can do is, first of all, come to this level of setting where we have subcategory on text level, and then the sum of sales and sum of text category, and then bring down the phones or chairs or these category values inside the bar so that it is easily shown. But if we go inside here in this label and we have left, let's put it inside bottom left, it does not change. So what we may need to do is, in this case, first of all, keep it automatic, and then here in case of subcategory, we just press the enter or the return and we click apply, and what we get is a good looking bar chart which is having the categories at the start, or the category value at the start. This is especially useful in scenarios like those where you want you have less space, you are saving the space for your labels, you are saving the space for your bars, and then in a very small space you can show the impact, or you can show the bar chart which is meaningful for your dashboard design. So with that, I hope you have enjoyed this entire session of various different types of the chart, and let me know if you find any other bar chart that is interesting enough not covered here and something that should be part of our repository. So share it with the community by putting a link down there, maybe a dashboard link, maybe a chart link, or blog link where you may have seen this, and we'll learn from each other from that. And with that, if you want this particular workbook, instructions are down there in the description, and you can then play around with this workbook as well. So with that, I will thank you so much for spending such your valuable time with me on these different types of bar charts, and I hope you have learned a lot from this entire session, and I'll meet you in the next video with some new and interesting topic. Till then, thank you. Bye.